Well, I'm very, very happy, Arne. You helped me with this underdog. You spotted a beautiful game,
Oh,
and we're going to share it with the viewers. It's a game from the Asian Esports Chess Cup, which took place last month in Bangkok. And well, it's an incredible game. It's well, Andrey Esipenko doesn't need any introduction, right? Candidate, superstar from Russia, and he played against now the big challenge of this video. The name of his opponent is a young boy from Thailand, I think 10 or 11 years old. And now here it comes, Pakornnarong Liukasemsarn. I don't know. I hope if he's
remember
watching
that name,
the
ladies and
yeah,
gentlemen.
remember that name. Yeah. No, but it's a rating difference of 800 points.
I think
And I
I'm
know it's an esports game, 10 minutes, short time control. But what a game it is.
yeah,
So are you ready for it?
I'm very happy that this is a good game because I'm not looking at the games. I'm just seeing the rating difference. I sent them to you, and you will figure out if it's a good game or not. And apparently, it is. So that is very exciting to always see an 800 rating difference. It's almost like, oh my god, it is so crazy, and stuff like this happens. So yeah, I'm curious.
And especially when really strong top players are involved, yeah, that makes it even more exciting.
And
So
I'm just noticing he was playing with the black pieces. Even, I mean,
the Thai boy,
yeah,
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 exactly. Yeah,
unbelievable.
yeah, and well, it's like a normal game. It could be a game between us. So,
I doubt it.
and then I'm playing with the white pieces as well. So let's have a look. Um, starts with e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, all standard Italian
Seen it once
stuff.
again. Yeah, once in a
Yeah,
while.
we have seen it a million times. So here, first interesting moment, because white has a lot of different ways of developing here. The most common move is probably to play c3 and then at some point play d4 or maybe b4, try to grab space. But bishop g5 is another way of handling this Italian game, and of course it does set up some pressure against the knight, and well,
Yeah.
white would like to get in another knight to d5, but well, that's not going to happen this game. Black goes h6, questioning the bishop, and well, obviously, if you do take, black is very happy to see this pin being resolved. So white plays the principled move bishop h4.
That's how I like to
Keeping,
play, by the way,
yeah,
like 1-to-1.
1-1.
Seems to
But
be a
now,
1900 rating opening.
yeah. But now I'm also curious to hear from you, Arne. What would you play with black here?
Ha,
And maybe there are different
yeah.
situations. There are situations you play against somebody of equal strength. But let's say you're playing against Andrey Esipenko. What would you play here with black?
Oh, against Andre. Oh gosh. So of course the question you're pointing at is G5 or not G5, right? Because
Yeah,
it is a double-edged sword. On one hand, you have you're pushing away the bishop. You are pushing your pawns forward, so you're committing probably to castle queenside and attack on the king side. On the other hand, this can be also vulnerable to push the pawns forward, and it can backfire in the end. So
hard to say.
yeah,
Hard to say how it works out. But this Thai boy, he was really brave. He just played it G5, and then the bishop basically has to go back. And as you said, I mean, this can be really weakening. On the other hand, black hasn't castled yet. Nowadays, in this opening, you often see situations that black has already castled and then pushes the pawn anyway to g5. But now black has some additional options, and well, we will get to see one big difference in the game later as well. Again, a lot of options for both sides. Black tried here bishop g4, planning to go knight d4 next. So white plays c3 to prevent the knight coming into d4. And look at this, queen d7. White goes b4, attacking the bishop. Bishop goes back to b6. Knight bd2. And now castling queenside. So here we are, position
we
with
are.
opposite castled kings. This is a position which should become really exciting.
I like that. If I have a chance to play like this with black, I often like my chances, but I also often enough I lost exactly this position, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah, I mean, usually it's hard to evaluate. Is it favoring white or black in this case? I mean, both sides have already made some advances on the side where they would like to attack. Now it's white who's gonna play a4, threatening to trap the bishop, and here a5 is
Very
played
good.
by black. What do you think? How should white proceed here?
Well, so what I normally see, still confirming a lot of my games, there's also another two options, either taking on a5 and then opening the b file, putting the queen to b3, the rook to b1, and trying to get some counterattack on that side. On the other hand, I've often enough also seen b5 to push away the knight and then try to get the pawn on a5 with the knight or something, or use the c pawn to also advance further.
Yeah, I understand your point. On the other hand, I think Black would be very much relieved here
Yeah,
to
I am.
see that the files on the queen side they remain closed. So Black can even go knight e7, think about getting the knight over to g6. I know that the pawn on f7 it can be taken, but if you capture such pawns, it will probably only help Black to bring more pieces into the attack. So with opposite castled kings, like in many Sicilians, for instance, you should not care about the number of pawns, but more about opening files towards the opponent's king. So I don't think b5 is such a good move. But Esipenko played very interesting move. He played here bishop b5, which does pin the knight on c6, and it also prepares moves like knight c4 to add more pressure against the pawn on a5. And the knight on c6 no longer defends the pawn. So this is a clear drawback of black having placed its pawn on a5. But let's have a look. Black goes h5.
Yeah, attack.
Attacking, threatening to trap the bishop as well. And what do you think? How should white respond to it? Should he continue with his own ideas, or should he first try to stop black's intentions?
I would stop black intentions now because I'm too slow. I can see that already. I often enough have this position with white as well, as I mentioned already. So here my go-to move would actually be h4.
h4 was played
Yes.
by Esipenko, but it's not the best move in the position. And
Oops.
I think it's very difficult to find, not particularly the next move, but there's an absolutely amazing sequence which I wanted to share with you. White can continue with his attack here by taking on a5. The knight cannot take, as I said, so let's say you take back with the bishop. And now, as I said earlier, try to bring attackers into the right position as quickly as you can. So white continues with knight c4, attacking the bishop.
Oh,
Now,
wow.
you can take the pawn on c3, attacking the rook, and white can play in different manners. He can play a move like rook c1 and continue the attack. It's all fine. But according to the Silicon Beast, there's an absolutely bizarre sequence. You can continue with the attack, ignore the material. You play the move a5, and the rook can be taken. You can even take first on f3 if you want, trying to deflect the white queen from taking part on the queen side. So you would expect white probably to recapture on f3, but the machine says, no way, I'm continuing the attack with the move queen a4. Is this a move which would ever cross your mind? Absolutely not. If you take the rook on a1, now white can think about taking back the bishop, but the key idea of white's concept is to neglect all the material and continue the attack with the move a6 to undermine the pawn on b7, the main defender of that knight on c6. And you see that white has ideas to advance the pawn, to promote it, or maybe take on b7 and then queen a6, and very soon the knight on c6 will be lost as well. White has a crushing mating attack in this case.
I am stunned. I mean, I probably had something similar on the board a couple of times already. I cannot believe it, actually.
But it's so difficult because you
So
feel like
interesting.
you always feel like I still have enough time. Better recapture material first.
Yes, except
Um,
and I even was completely wrong. Like I was like, white is not fast enough to counterattack. Well, and there we go again. One of the first rules: if you are being attacked, try to find a counterattack, and if you can find that sequence, my goodness, because it's not impossible. I don't think so.
No, it's possible to find these things, but it's as an exercise, it's easier than as a situation in one of your own games. Um, anyway, I think the move chosen by Esipenko makes a lot of sense. He just played h4, and there's not much wrong with it, but it was just an illustration that white can try to open up the queen side really fast. So what should black do? Black can take the pawn, of course. But instead, they follow this move. Rook d to g8.
Excellent.
The g file will be opened very soon, so it makes sense to get a rook there. And the point is that if white is going to take the pawn on g5, you can answer that move with the move h4. Attacking the bishop. And if the bishop goes back to h2, it's rook takes g5, and you're making use of that knight on f3 being pinned. So white is really slow, and black is seizing the initiative on the king side. Again, white could have considered continuing the attack by taking on a5 himself, but played here first, knight c4. Also sensible continuation, I think. Black captures on h4. And before recapturing, first knight takes b6 check, removing that annoying bishop, weakening black's structure on the queen side. Pawn takes back, bishop takes h4. Attacking the knight on f6. And you can think about moving the knight to a safer place, maybe to h7 or e8. Maybe there are other moves as well, but black continued here with this move, bishop h3. Now the g file has been opened. It makes a lot of sense to generate threats here yourself. And the point is, of course, that if you take the knight, you can even choose between taking with the rook or taking with the bishop. I think the bishop is even stronger, because if the rook is going to be taken in the corner, it's bishop takes f3 with a discover check, winning the queen, and probably is leading to checkmate very soon as well.
And the rook is equally good because I mean, it looks fearsome, but I don't see the continuation.
Taking with the rook on g2 here right
Yeah.
away. Yeah. Also really good. Yeah. It's just that in a way, if you take with the rook, it feels like your pieces are a bit clumsy. Like you
Yeah.
cannot really move the bishop away because the rook will be hanging then. But yeah, this also makes sense. But probably taking with the bishop is even more powerful.
Yeah, I see only bishop taking as a very powerful option here.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, white is not gonna enter this adventure, and better stops the counterplay along the g file. Played here the move g3, and is ready to give up the rook on f1. So bishop takes f1, and now queen takes f1 was played. I should say though that maybe taking on f6 would have been a better idea, so that you're still intending to take more material after this. For instance, if black saves the bishop, you take on h8, you take back. Material is even, still a lot to play for. Maybe white is a bit better, but anything can still happen. So anyway, didn't happen. Bishop takes f1, queen takes f1. So you're down an exchange as white, right? Your knight on f6 is under an attack. Knight went back to e8. What do you think? How is white going to prove compensation for the sacrificed material?
Well, the bishops look strong, to be honest. But the question is, of course, why does white not continue now on the queen side? As we already have seen, I think it is actually quite nice. Taking on a5, pushing d4. The bishop on h4 looks a bit weird, and maybe it's going to be... I don't know. I think white actually has some solid position. Not very solid, but solid enough.
No, but it's very interesting. You're down in exchange, but there are no open files,
Yeah.
right? There are only half open files. So the rook on h8, it's not very impressive. There's no reason to assume that the rook is better than one of white's bishops. I like your idea of taking on a5 and then d4, but in the game, white played immediately d4. Sensible move. Queen g4, trying to generate some threats against white's unprotected pieces. And here the queen comes to d3. So the queen is going to support the center, defends the knight, defends the pawn. And okay, slowly white is going to do something on the queen side.
So here's another interesting thought, of course. Can you convince me that king g2 is a worse move? I mean, it looks even more dangerous, but now I have the fear, I personally have the fear, that the queen goes to h3 and invades a bit stronger, or is this fear
No,
without?
the thing is that if you move the king to g2 to protect
It's just
the knight,
e4.
e4 is hanging. That's the problem. So that's why the queen goes to e3. But okay, you said you're afraid of queen h3. I understand, but what is black threatening in this case? There are no threats, I guess. Everything is well protected here still.
Yeah, actually it is. It's so crazy. Okay, wow.
Bishop defends the pawn, knight
Yeah,
defends
yeah.
the bishop. Everything works perfectly together.
Okay, cool.
Now, critical moment in the game. Black decided to take on d4, opening up the position, which was probably not a good decision, but it worked out very well for black. What would you do here as white?
Well, I would take the knight on c6 and then the pawn on d4 with... Oh my god, I cannot take with the queen. My goodness, what is wrong with me? However...
Well, but your first idea was great. Taking on c6, eliminating
fair
the
enough.
most important defender of the black king. So take on c6, black takes back.
Okay, is there any checks? No, it's just the queen can go to a6, give a check, but...
Is a very interesting move. It's one of the better continuations. What I had in my notes is just take on a5. Just open up more files. You take back and, for instance, taking on d4. And I think black's position is just absolutely terrible. There are all sorts of ideas that the rook can join, either from b1 or c1. The queen can try to infiltrate. But I like the centralized queen on d3. So it's looking at the black king, but it's also supporting its own king side. And as I said earlier, I think that the rook on h8, it's not really contributing to the game. So feels to me that white's king is actually safer than black's. Yeah, but okay, this didn't happen. Black didn't take on c6 and instead just took on d4 first. And in a way, it also feels like quite nice to preserve the bishop for now, and you feel like maybe later you can still take on c6. But well, black has a very, very strong idea here. How should black try to solidify his position again?
I have an idea, but I'm not sure if it's working. It looks a bit risky. So what about knight takes d4?
d4? Ooh. I understand what you want. So if I take with the queen, you want to take on f3.
Correct.
And if I take with the knight, you want to take on h4.
Correct.
Wow, okay. You're making use of that pin. I didn't think of that idea at all. Knight takes d4.
That's why I'm here.
What I'm gonna do now? Maybe I can give a check first, or
it looks a bit dangerous after queen takes, to be honest.
Exactly. That's the refutation probably. And I think now maybe rook c1, but also taking on b6 looks pretty good.
Looks great.
Threatening checkmate on d8. Yeah, look at this bishop.
That's not okay.
No, white should be winning here for sure.
f6.
Yeah, but then rook c1 and the attack is only about to start now. So no, better don't do that. Don't do that. Go back.
It's not working. No.
I mean, how should black keep his own king safe? That's the main priority.
Yes, that is actually a very good point. So is it... no, we cannot go into the pin. Is it just trying to move the king to a7?
Well, very soon we are going to do that. But what to do first?
Okay, how about rook g6?
Why
Or
are you going to play that move?
h6.
Well, too creative. But keep in mind that white has always ideas to try to open up files. Maybe take on c6, take on a5. First things first. That queen side needs to become more safe first.
Okay. Damn, what to do here? Is it maybe getting the knight into game? Because it's horrible on e8. Maybe get it to c7?
Reasonable, but there's a better move.
There's even a better move.
Look at captures.
Oh, look at captures. What could I... Oh, it's just taking on b4.
Taking on b4, how?
With the pawn.
No!
Oh no!
Arne, what's wrong with you today?
I don't know, really, seriously. So we take with the knight, but
take with the knight.
Okay.
Yeah. No, sorry. What you wanted to say?
No, it looks a bit scary to me.
It is a little bit scary, but look at this.
Yeah.
The A and B file, they're kind of close because the knight is supported by the pawn and the knight is hitting the queen.
Okay.
So white gave a check, rook c1, king goes to b8, and now queen c4. So this is what you meant, right? This looks scary.
Yeah, queen c4 immediately, it was my thought, but yeah.
Probably it will come down
to
the same thing. To take on f7, yeah? Okay.
I mean, of course, rook f8 is something to think about, but then I would go queen d7.
Okay. So I go back a few moves. So you mean queen c4?
Yeah, maybe
king
I miscalculated,
b8,
of course, but
go here. But I go rook f8 now.
Yeah, that's not so nice.
And after the queen moves, I can take on f3.
Yeah, but yeah, it's just not enough, is it? No, I thought about check on d8, but the king just moves away.
Like in the game, after rook c1, king b8, queen c4.
That's
the knight on f3 was taken. You can give one check on c8, and the king can hide on a7. Remember this pattern with 2 pawns on the b file and 1 pawn on the a file.
Oh yeah, I love that. Yeah,
the king is absolutely safe. Queen d8 was played, so white is trying to set up some threats based on the move rook c8 and rook coming to a8 later.
Yeah.
How would you organize your defense here as black?
Just knight g7. I think that should be enough.
Simple and strong. Knight g7, forcing the queen to leave the back rank. Queen d7, and now the knight went to e6. So the knight has significantly improved his position, is threatening to take on d4. Even if, let's say, white is going to take on d6, we can even think about playing a move like knight f4, threatening mate, and exploiting that pinned pawn on the g file. So the knight cannot be taken. Yeah, so this looks absolutely crushing. White, of course, had seen that, decided to go back with the bishop to f1, which is a good defensive move. But I mean, white should also realize that he's a full rook down at this point, and there's no longer any dangerous threat against the black king, because that's absolutely safe here. So the game is completely game over now. Rook went to g4, probably intending to take on h4 and get the other rook to the g file. Bishop g2 first, attacking the queen, and the queen can go almost anywhere. It went to a3 to hit the rook. Rook f1, knight takes d4, capturing another pawn. Everything is totally safe. Bishop f6.
Okay, I just wanted to say, don't fall for e5.
Okay. Good point. I didn't think of it. Why I didn't think of it? You're sharper than me today.
No, I'm not. No, the opposite is the case. But
e5, the point is you're threatening mate here, right?
Yeah. But of course, d5 will destroy all the dreams, I guess.
Keeps everything under control, yeah. So
even if we lose a pawn, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's a good point. So, well, bishop f6 played, double attack, the knight and the rook.
Yeah, that's good.
Check. King goes to the h file. And now, interesting moment. The rook is under attack. we can move the rook away and try to convert. But what is another typical idea here? Can you see it?
Typical idea here. Oh, apparently I cannot see it, Robert.
Yeah, come on.
Is it just taking on G3 with the knight?
Probably also a good idea. Also a good idea. But as an attacker, what has Black been thinking of almost the entire game? But it was not possible.
Oh,
But now it is.
What was Black thinking the whole time? Now it is possible. Now you're confusing me even more, Robert. I mean,
Opening files towards the opponent's king.
yeah. So I don't see. Oh my God! It took me a while. I'm so sorry. It's H4. Okay, this also didn't even
H4.
like.
H4. This is a beautiful move because both rooks are hanging. And of course, it's easy to attack in such way because you're up a rook.
Yeah.
But the trick is that if the rook on G4 is taken, it's H takes G3.
With double check.
Double check mate. So that's not possible. If you take the other rook, I'm going to take also on G3. And if you do take back with a pawn, it's queen takes, king H1, queen takes G2 with checkmate.
That is so
right?
crazy.
And so in all these lines, you're just opening up the position and you get access faster to the white king.
Oh, imagine I wouldn't have spotted it. I would have 10-minute game and I would have thought about this for 1-2 minutes and then I would have gone like,
and then you get flagged. Yeah, exactly.
Maybe.
Yeah. So anyway, H4, king H3 was played in the game. So that H takes G3 doesn't come as a double check. But what would you play now instead?
Well, now we can take on G3 after all with the rook.
With the rook, because if you take back with the pawn, it's checkmate again. And therefore the king went back. So actually king H3 was pretty senseless, but white's position was lost anyway. And now you're up so much material. It does make sense to remove some defenders.
Back.
Exactly.
I see a combination. No, the queen is protecting H3.
That's a pity. But anyway, don't let it stop you from playing the right move.
Yeah, it still works, right? Yeah. So I take on G2.
Yes, king takes.
I give a check on F4.
That is a good move. That's a good move. It was not played in the game, but it's a good move.
It has to work, yeah. So it's just rook G8 check, I guess.
Rook G8 is simple because it's also a tempo move, and your rook will no longer be hanging. King H2.
Now I don't know, Queen F3 perhaps.
Queen F3 and white resigned because there's a mating threat on G2. Everything is winning for black. You're up a piece on top of that. I just want to show you one funny thing. After Queen H3, black can do many things. He can exchange queens and say, like, I'm going to win the endgame. He can also take the bishop on F6 and say, I'm 2 pieces up. But what is the coolest move on the board here? Can you find it?
The coolest move on the board. So it has to be like some kind of
brilliant attacking concept.
I see. Okay, let me think for a short moment. Is it? No, this is not brilliant enough. Queen F4 check. Stupid.
Is also good, of course. Also good, but not what I'm looking for.
Okay, I'm cooking. So takes, check. How can I mate? I still don't get the mate, but there must be some kind of smothered mate or something.
Not exactly. Not exactly. It's a tough one, and probably in a practical game, I would maybe not even spot it myself. It's just that I got informed by the machine that it's a cool idea. So anyway, I'm gonna
show it.
Yeah, Rook G3. That's the coolest move.
I thought about that. Why? What the heck?
You're hitting the queen. If the queen goes anywhere, it's mate on G2. So
why can we not just take with the? We just take with the queen and okay.
Take with the pawn. Take back with the H pawn now, and the king can't go anywhere. And
Oh,
you have to take with the queen on g3, but then queen takes, king h1, queen h3 is checkmate.
oh.
As I said, you don't have to find it, but since we are looking for cool attacking ideas, I thought this was a nice
Yeah, and
conclusion of the game.
tactics are so important. I think I'm lacking tactic gym a little bit. I have to do some more tactics. I have to watch more of your shows.
I wanted to say it, Arne, but I'm happy that you put it in yourself.
And especially your chess-based trainers, because they are really good and I have been doing them. But that's the good thing about your trainers as well. They're like every couple of years you should redo them, because you will forget all those super tactics, and then you can redo them and think about them again. Find some more patterns.
keep your brain sharp.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. So yeah, very glad this is an absolutely crazy game with the opening, which is so common. And what a game. Liukasemsarn.
Yeah. I call him the Thai boy, the super talented Thai boy who crushed Super GM.
The little boy from Thailand. I mean, his rating of 1858 in 10-minute chess is probably plummeted upwards, because I think he played some other good games too, crazily enough. So yeah, that's our Underdog. A wonderful game. Thank you so much, Robert.
Thank you too, Arne.
Thank you everybody for watching. We see each other soon again. Until then.
Take care. Bye-bye.